Hello, this is Nick from Breaker Press Games, and I want to talk about 2023 and the goals of Breaker Press Games. All right, friends, so what is going on with Breaker Press in 2023? Well, having already talked about how 2022 went, I really want to attack 2023 with a level of intentionality that I have not attacked a year in a long time. In fact, the last time that I really kind of was in this sort of mindset was in my 30s when I was fully immersed in punk rock. I only worked a job in order to do punk things and to do animal advocacy work. And so that is where my head is at right now, because at this point it is just me and Ian McCanine, and I can do what I want. So what do I want? Well, let's talk about Breaker Press. So looking at the coming year, I'm going to talk about the next 3 months, and then I'm going to talk about an overview for the rest of the year. So going into the next 3 months, let's talk about January. Now, these goals, I wrote them 2 weeks ago, mapped them out, and actually contacted Hal, who used to be very much involved in Breaker Press, but as he was finishing his last couple of years of college, along with starting his new career, he had to step away from things. But he was super involved. He did the layout for the Precipice of Corruption. He did the layout for the first printing of Rabid Dog Zine. And he did a lot of stuff with Broken Contract, the miniature game that was our focus before that. But he wants to get involved in things again. He is now a project manager as part of his career, and he wants to bring those talents to Breaker Press Games. And I am super excited about that because I need help staying on track, as has clearly been indicated in the past with videos and how my brain works. So that being said, January, one of the big things that's going on in the OSR and DCC community is Dungeon 23. It's something that I really want to participate in, but the idea of starting and finishing a 365 room mega dungeon really would take me way off track from completing the various Kickstarters and what have you if I approached it in that mindset. I'm going to approach it in a very different mindset. Instead, I'm going to utilize Dungeon 23 to stay on track with the different projects that need to be finished. If there's a room that needs to be completed for Cleft in the Mangled Hills, that's going to get done in January. That's going to be one of the rooms. I've got a number of different locations from the standard map that need to be detailed out for Standard Courier Volume 2, Tragedy at Woodwitch Rise. I've got the bones of the adventure all written, but those rooms, or I should say locations, need to be detailed out. And so my goal is to knock out one of those every single day. So use the intentionality of Dungeon 23 in order to complete the projects that I have already started and committed to, rather than doing a whole new mega dungeon. So yeah, that's something that I'm really excited to participate in. I already did a video in December, the day before the solstice, telling people about the standard character creation guide, which I am super excited. It's been downloaded over 200 times on DriveThruRPG. If you downloaded it and you love it or think it's pretty cool, please review it so that it gets into DriveThruRPG's consciousness, and other people see it and are like, oh, that looks cool. I want that, because it is a fantastic gateway to get other people into the other standard related content, the Breaker Press content. But that is one of the, as I mentioned before, it is the Patreon reward for the physical Patreon reward for January. And so those are at the printer right now. I placed the order on Friday. They should hopefully be done by Friday of this coming week and will ship out to Patreon backers. I did print a bunch of physical copies as well to sell and to bring to conventions, including Midwinter, which Midwinter is happening in January here in Milwaukee. I will be there. I know that 2OG Games, or at least Michael from 2OG Games will be there running events. I think Christopher will be as well. And there's going to be some guy running the Precipice of Corruption, who's not me. And I don't know him, and that's super cool. I was super excited when I saw that pop up. So those are the things going on with Breaker Press in January. The goal in February is to ship Hillwood Camp and Cleft in the Mangled Hills. I want to finish those projects in January and get those out to backers in February, because I don't want to miss Zine Quest 5. We skipped Zine Quest 4 because we were so behind on everything, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able, like, adding on another project wasn't feasible at the time. As long as Hillwood Camp and Cleft in the Mangled Hills have shipped, I will feel comfortable with launching another zine project on Kickstarter. The tentatively is going to be Tragedy at Woodwitch Rise, which will be 20 to 24 pages, so it'll be very compact in the same way that Wide-Eyed Terror was very compact, and it will use largely stock art, so that I'll be able to knock it out, have it almost done, if not done, by the time that it goes to Kickstarter, and will ship promptly a month or two after it is been funded. That is the goal with that. So February, Tragedy at Woodwitch Rise, and then the Patreon reward will either be the Icon Bearer or Outlier class in a physical mini zine, just like the Bruiser and the Canine, which were rewards back in December and November. So March, the big thing will be GaryCon. So I'll be at GaryCon, hopefully running a bunch of events. And then the Patreon reward, the goal is to complete. There was something that Jay Griffiths, good friend and Patreon backer, had said that he really wanted to see in the character creation guide, but I didn't feel that it was ready. But is something that I would really like to make happen, is a Stennard regional map. And so it'll be a fold-out map of the region of Stennard, and it'll have a bunch of key locations and little bits of information and what have you on it. I think it'll be a super cool thing to have, and it would be a cool thing to ship out to the Patreon backers. And so the other thing that will happen in March is hopefully finish up the Protectorate of Genulane in order to ship that in April, which will make it exactly 1 year late from when it was supposed to ship, but it will be done, and it will be fabulous. So that being said, let's get into the overview of the rest of the year. So other Kickstarters. I put in notice at my job in order to attack Breaker Press full time. I will also be doing odd jobs and what have you. I started doing that already. Clearing snow, doing landscaping, assembling IKEA furniture, you name it. There's odd jobs. I do it. And so, hey, if you live in the Milwaukee area and you need any of those things, let me know. But that being said, ultimately, the big thing, and I've mentioned this in many videos in the past, is that part of the reason why I bought this house is because the mortgage is incredibly low, and it is something where it is feasible that I could live, just me and my dog, in relative comfort on a very small income. And so that is the goal. So that being said, other Kickstarters. I do intend to do Kickstarters for Stennard Courier Volume 2, the Furnace Tower, possibly Rabid Dogs 2, or another spell book similar to the Tome of Debasement. I've got all of these projects have all been started already. The Bruiser was content from Rabid Dogs 2. I've got a bunch of stuff from Standard Courier Volume 2 that's been on Patreon for months already. All of these projects have been started, and so it's just a matter of getting them finished. And whenever something feels like it's far enough along, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But those are the plans for Kickstarters. Patreon reward ideas, I mapped out specifically 10 out of 12 months for the coming year, and all of them are either 1 or 2 page pamphlets. Most of them are bits of content that have been started, but some of the things that will be more character classes. I've got a couple of cool ones that I have not, or I should say at least fun ones that have not been printed yet, and then some that you've seen before, like the Icon Bearer and the Outlier. I want to do a Stennard calendar that includes festivals and holy days and all that fun stuff. Doing that as a pamphlet, I think, would be a fun thing, and it would be a way that people could actually utilize it in order to, like, when I run my campaigns, I actually do one day at a time, and so like my group that is I've started an open table campaign at the end of 2022. It's been fantastic, and literally we've played 4 sessions and we're 4 days into the calendar. So yeah, that's something. And then I came up with a new format for doing encounter tables that I am debuting in Hillwood Camp. I'm super excited about it, and I think those would make a cool thing to do pamphlets of as well, for the different roads and deer tracks that are around Stennard. So I think that's a fun thing. One of the other things that I would like to do this year, something that has been on my to-do list for a long time, when I was involved in punk and running a record label and doing shows, I did a lot of benefit shows and a lot of animal advocacy work. And I want to bring that back into what I do. I think what David Beatty does for cat rescue is fantastic, and I want to do stuff like that as well. I really want to see Breaker Press do events for Chicagoland Bully Breed Rescue, which is a rescue that I've been involved with in the past. They placed dogs that I fostered. One of my dogs, not Ian McK9, but the one that stays with my ex, Harlow. She is a CBBR dog, and they're just a fantastic organization. So I want to work with them. I want to work with Mercy for Animals, who do they do the undercover investigations of sneaking into factory farms in order so that people know what happens in those locations. I think they're a fantastic organization. They do very important work. And so I'd like to support them. And I would also like to support Goats of Anarchy, which is an organization out of New Jersey that run a giant farm of rescued animals. And yeah, they try to give goats and all sorts of other animals their best lives. And I think they're fantastic. And so I really want to do a variety of different events in order to support those organizations. And then tying into all of this with all of the conventions that I want to run. Actually, I forgot to list. One of the goals is to hit at least 4 to 6 conventions this year. I will be at Midwinter, at GaryCon, at Gen Con, at Gamehole Con, and I want to stick 2 more in there somewhere. But one of the things that I really want to do this year, I never document my games through Goodman Games, and I really want to finally earn my official death stamp. So assuming that's one of the road crew rewards this year, I want my death stamp. So that is one of the goals. So that is what is going on with Breaker Press Games. I know it sounds like a lot. I think that since most of this stuff is all started, it is all very feasible, especially if Hal is helping me track what needs to be done and when it needs to be done by, along with, all of the other stuff. I think it's something that's very doable. Definitely the the last 3 months of shipping out Patreon rewards, it's been very, very doable and feels very comfortable, and it's something that I'm excited about because those really tiny projects work really well with my brain. And so yeah, that is Breaker Press Games 2023 in a nutshell. As with all things, it is possible that these ideas will get derailed, or some of them will get dropped off the roster in order for something else. But since most of these projects are started, I think they are things that will all happen in 2023. Here's hoping. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you all for your support. Don't worry, I won't get lost in the weeds. Life can happen, but as far as the projects themselves, especially with the Protector of Genulane, Cleft in the Mangled Hills, and Hillwood Camp, those are the priorities, and I have not lost sight of that. But there's a whole year to go, and so as always, thank you for supporting indie games. Thank you for supporting indie game designers. This is Nick from Breaker Press Games, ready to take on 2023. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.